This is Alicia from Adventure Denali, my favorite Instagram and YouTube channel. And last year I had the opportunity to interview her. I found her to be as enchanting and fun as her videos. I hope this video will convince you to check out her accounts, and to further incentivize you, I'll be giving away this Lamy along with its matching ink and matching notebook. Sorry, the rock's not included. Almost every year of the last 15 years, I've gone to Tucson, Arizona for the Tucson Gem, Mineral, and Fossil Showcase, which is the largest gem, mineral, and fossil show on Earth by a factor of like 5. Every year at the end of January and the beginning of February, for a 3-week span, 65,000 people descend upon Tucson for this show. It's actually 45 different shows with like a total of 4,000 vendors, and they bring in over $130 million. I now mainly go for the spectacle of the thing, where you can see like a chair made out of quartz, all the way to being able to purchase a $5 scoop of tumbled rocks. Or you can go to specialty shows like this one, which is called the AGTA, which is so high-end that you can't film in it unless you plan on being tackled by the security guards. So that's why I'm reduced to showing you pictures out of a catalog. This is where you'll find vendors selling little piles of diamonds, and they hold the most prestigious gem cutting competition, and that's what these pictures are from. So I was so excited when I found out that Alicia lived in Tucson and I would be able to meet up with her. I'll be showing pictures from her Instagram throughout this video, and you'll get a feel of what I'm trying to show here. We met early for coffee at the Mercado San Agustin in front of the Presta Coffee Roasters. It's a beautiful building, but we were outdoors, so I had some problems with the sound. There was a lot going on, music and people, and there's also an Air Force base nearby where jets were flying in and out.
Alright, so adventure, because I really love adventuring in every way possible. So physically and also like in a journal or with pens or inks or maybe hiking. I love experiencing new things, new places. I love going hiking and camping, but I also love experiencing new pens and papers and just all the things. Music is an adventure. And then Denali is because when I graduated high school, my aunt and uncle took me on a 3-week backpacking trip into Alaska, and it just changed my life forever. We saw Mount McKinley, Denali, and it just, it didn't leave me. So everything that I have online usually has Denali in it.
Of course, we both brought pens to this meetup. One of hers was this one, a Sailor Pro Gear Christmas Spiced Tea. She also brought a Lamy Safari All-Star from Yoseka. And this one, a Schaefer Oversized Balance, to complement a Schaefer she had lost in the past. She has an interesting video about this, and I'll link it up here in the corner. She considers her YouTube videos kind of like another way to journal. She shares with people, but it makes it easier because people can choose whether or not they want to actually watch the video and when to watch it. Her favorite ink, at least last year when I interviewed her, is Diamine Oxford Blue, and she likes it because of its richness, its saturation, and that it almost looks like a black ink. The other pen she brought is a Kaweco Brass Sport, and it's her daily carry. She likes it because she doesn't have to worry about it. She said, "Everything I have is really lived in." She went on to explain that things have to be able to be used, that she doesn't have things just because they're pretty. And to me, it makes absolute sense that this would be her daily carry. One of my questions to her was, why fountain pens?
I think because I just love writing and creating the perfect space that feels really inspired to write is really important to me. And fountain pens for so many years have been one of the few writing instruments that have inspired me. I just love the way they feel. I love the way they look. I love the science of them. They're just really interesting. And fountain pens so far have been the only writing tool that has really met that challenge. They have been a great source of inspiration for a long time. I just love the way they feel and the way they look.
Another of her adventures is playing different musical instruments. She plays the cello, the ukulele, and something called a classical mandolin. She started as a kid, and she says her playing kind of goes in cycles.
So music, camping, all a part of an adventure. I love learning new music. I love experiencing new instruments and kind of figuring them out. And I also just love being a part of the wilderness.
Okay, and now here we get to the really adventure-y part of Adventure Denali. She's a serious, legit hiker and camper, and also occasionally goes exploring in caves. I think that's pretty much, well, my definition of adventure. And here you can see her peeking up between, I don't know, cave walls. And here's a little snake on a hike. I mean, who would want to, meet a snake on a hike? And she saw some wild horses on a hike. I've never met wild horses, and I probably never will. But now I know someone that's met wild horses, and they use a fountain pen. She said she goes camping to get an opportunity to be absorbed into nature, to stay a while. And I'm in so much awe because it's like real camping. I mean, not glamping or anything like that. Here's one of my favorite pictures of her. They both look like popsicles. You know, the weather's rough, and there she is, peering up from under her hood, grinning like a little kid. So being the weenie that I am, I asked her where in Tucson, if somebody came in and they weren't really an experienced hiker, where would she suggest they go?
Oh man, I mean everywhere. It's just this place is full of beautiful things. I think, oh gosh, if they came into Tucson, they only had a day, they didn't have animals, Pima Canyon, I think, is a beautiful trail that's at the foothills of the Catalina Mountains, and you just follow this beautiful canyon, and you get to see a lot of different biomes in a short amount of time because you're climbing in elevation. But it's not a strenuous hike. It does get to be at the very top, but yeah.
And now we come to my favorite part, Alicia's animals. She has Bean, who's a ferret, and I pretty much wanted to post every picture she had of Bean. That critter is just so cute. She had a ferret as a kid, and she said they need a lot of stimulation. They're very curious, and they need lots of room to roam. And this beautiful creature is Fig, her greyhound. And this cutie pie is her short-legged dog named Dot.
Bean, who is the ferret, he is just, he's the light of my life. So anything he does, whether it's poop in a corner on the kitchen floor or crawl up into my lap and fall asleep. I love that creature so much. Fig is a greyhound, and he was a retired racing greyhound, or he is a retired racing greyhound. And when I first got him, he was so awkward. And greyhounds in general, I think, are very stoic, and he's very calm and peaceful and non-reactive. He doesn't emote, but every once in a while he gets really excited, and his long legs are just flailing all over the place, and his ears do all crazy things, and so I love that about him. And then Dot is another dog. She's a short-legged dog, and she just I want to be her because when she goes hiking, she can just jump and climb on everything, and she has endless energy, and I would love to be able to turn into her when hiking.
Last spring, Ishoni did a collaboration with Lamy. From this is a Lamy Safari and its matching pen sleeve. These are all Colors by Lamy Spring Green, and a bottle of Spring Green ink by Nagasawa, and a B6 journal from Ishoni. This is pretty straightforward. Just go to Adventure Denali's Instagram account and follow her. And just put a comment under the picture I'll post of her on my Instagram, Inky Rocks. I'll use a random comment picker and announce the winner on my next full-length video. And for my last video, the winner for this cute little pen is Ann Grid 1, and please contact me on Instagram. This video has taken me over a year to make. Now granted, this past year has been pretty rough and I've been kind of busy, but I've actually made this video 3 times. This is my 3rd try. The last 2 times I couldn't quite put my finger on why I like her content so much. I'm old enough to be her mom, and she indulged me in taking this selfie. It took me about 18 times. And I kept saying she was like my Tumblr daughter, but that seemed too facile. And part of it is like her attitude. Here she explains how to use your fountain pen more.
I think kind of throwing out all the expectations and this idea that there's only one way to do it. I think people get really caught up in, oh, it has to be really profound, or the writing has to be really good, or it has to be meaningful, and it has to be beautiful. I think letting go of all those things and just appreciating the feeling of writing, the process, the pen hitting the paper, I think that can unlock a lot of doors. Just writing for the sake of writing, whether it's a grocery list or the first word that comes to your head or the alphabet over and over, just to get that like momentum.
And then it kind of hit me. She doesn't make fountain pens like a dogmatic hobby she follows. She doesn't have 10 o'clock every day. She has to write so many things in her bullet journal, which, you know, is great, but it's not how she kind of does it. She just kind of like makes it seamlessly part of her life. These are my 2 favorite pictures of her. She's out there either on a hike or camping, and you know her animals are out of the camera range, running around out there, and she's using her pen and writing. And the whole time I was interviewing her, she was telling me, she kept saying it over and over, and I just wasn't listening until now. This hidden gemstone said,
An adventure, life is an adventure. Yes.
And there you have it. Her life is so very different than mine. I'll probably never do the things that she does, but she makes me feel like an adventurer. When I use my fountain pen, it's an adventure. When I throw around inks, it's an adventure. And I feel that reflected back to me whenever I engage with her content. So hey, are you an adventurer too? And as promised earlier, here's a few outtakes and bloopers to end my video.
I used to fly into that base. Okay, so let's start with pooping on the floor.
All right, pooping on the floor. Bean, he could do no wrong. He can poop on the kitchen floor, and I think it's adorable. Suddenly I feel very nervous.
I am an idiot. I didn't tape any of this.
Warm up, great.
Yeah.
Just do it. Go out and do it.